we have to go way back to when I was about, I think, probably 16. And I'd done playing professional football and I'd found a job, an odd job somewhere. And I had a transistor radio, as it says on the line notes, permanently glued to my ear. And I just heard Sam Cooke coming over the airwaves singing Chain Gang. And I was, I was hooked ever since, and Sam Cooke's always been my idol, along with all the others. But I would say that would be around the about 1968. Well, in those days we were starved of rhythm and blues, really, and it was just the intimate sound of his voice, I suppose. Maybe it was just the track. It was just different to anything I'd heard. This was the early 60s. The Stones were just breaking through, so it was brand new for me. And it was all down to, you wouldn't have this stuff played on the BBC. It was, as I said in the liner notes, it was Radio Luxembourg and Radio Caroline. No, really, because I didn't have the money. I wasn't earning enough money to go and buy LPs, as they were called in those days. I was struggling, but, they definitely, that style of singing had left a big impression on me. Because I was just trying to style my own vocal style. I'd started off listening to, like the Carter Family and Woody Guthrie, and then a little bit later I'd listened to, a bit earlier than that, I'd listened to Little Richard and the Girl Can't Help It. I'd seen my first rock and roll show when I was 11. My brother took me to see Bill Haley and the Comets. So, but this definitely sowed the seed. Sam Cooke, Otis, all those guys. Soul music, baby. Soul music, that's what it was. I suppose lyrically they weren't earth-shattering, but I don't know, they were joyous, for want of a better word. Even the slow songs were joyous. Well, I've lived with them for quite a while now, but they're still very dear to me, and that's why I've made this album, as a sign of respect, really. Well, it's been on my mind, as I said in the liner notes once again. It's been on my mind for a long time, and I suppose I had to be pushed into doing it, because I was a bit frightened of tackling these songs because, they were my heroes. But we made a good start. The first song we did was Just My Imagination. That took off. Then we did Rainy Night in Georgia, and I slowly gained in confidence. And the one track that I was fearful of doing was Your Love Takes Me Higher, the Jackie Wilson song, because my wife said, you've got to do that. And she pushed me to do that one. So I was very happy once I got the vocal down on that. Because these are brilliant singers, man. They're not messing about here. But, the whole idea of this album, I'm not trying to challenge the originals. They're just alternate versions. They're my versions. There was a few arguments with the record company and management and everybody else connected with it, and that's good. That's all part of the creative process. You want that input from everybody. But with Just My Mate, well, the way I usually work is I'll do the vocal and I'll go away and I'll listen to it and I'll say, I know I can sing that better. With those two songs, I think I got those on 2 or 3 takes. The Tracks of My Tears I did about 3 or 4 times, trying to get it as far away from the original as I could. I think in the last 3 weeks of the sessions, we came up with 6 songs. Always works like that. Funnily, you go in the studio, you get 6 or 7 tracks, you think, oh, that's great. And always, right at the death, when you nearly finish the album, another 6 tracks will come along and they'll be the ones that's used. We recorded 29 tracks, I think. Yeah, once again, everybody gets together and you take everything on board from the record company and everybody involved. And I've got a fabulous record company. They always give me great advice. No, they do. They're really good. It's a very, very close relationship I have with the record company. Everybody puts in their 2 cents worth, and that's the way it should be done. There's a line you really can't cross, and we got close to it a couple of times. There are songs like Sitting on the Dock of the Bay and When a Man Loves a Woman, and Me and Mrs. Jones, which are really still on the radio a great deal. So you want to find ones that are not getting played that much. You know, My CHERIE, AMOUR was a bit of a risk, but I think we've gotten away with it. Otherwise, the others are big copyrights, but not really played a great deal on the radio. Well, you've obviously got the original on your mind, but what we did, which is a pretty unique way, once the track was laid down, I got someone else to go in and sing it, like just a session singer. So I could concentrate on what they'd done. I wasn't going to copy what they'd done, but I didn't want to keep listening to the original. And it's quite remarkable, because when you are singing these songs, you suddenly, I don't know, I suppose it's soul music, really. You come up with something that's totally different to the original. And you're always inventing new ways of singing the songs, which I found when I did the American Songbook, so I applied that sort of thing to this soul album. Just changing little notes, but not losing the entire melody of the song. Love Can Take Me Higher. I was really, as I said, I was very anxious about doing that one, because the Jackie Wilson track, let alone the vocal, is magnificent. And I don't think I could have done that without Steve Jordan and the band he put together. They were all a challenge, they really were. Oh, it's, you know, it's could be the, first of all, I think it's the drums and bass, the rhythm section, the Funk Brothers, the unique way they've been recorded. You know, they weren't recorded in massive studios. I don't know if you've ever been to Nashville, have you, in Detroit? Hitsville, rather. You know, and the Stax studios, they're all very small, all very unique, and just great musicians, great singers, great songs, well recorded, great producers. They're just wonderful tracks. You know, brilliant singers, beautifully created songs, beautifully crafted songs. Authenticity. Thankfully, Steve Terrell and Steve Jordan had all these connections. I know Willie fairly well, because I've worked down in Muscle Shoals way back in 1975. I did an album called Atlantic Crossing, and but yeah, you need these guys. You need them to make it sound authentic. Yeah, something we found out. I'm never in the studio with the band, by the way. That's the way we record now. You know, I see the producers and I say, this is the key, this is the style I want, this is the tempo, and this is the feel, and they go in and record it without me. But with the same old song, that was my idea, to do the first verse, a slow verse, first verse, and then go into tempo. So that, I think, worked tremendously well. Smokey was on tour and he came in the studio, I think I wasn't in town, I think I was up in Vancouver somewhere, and same with the girls, I didn't sing with them either. It's a shame, I mean, I wish we could go back to doing that, but with schedules being as tight as they are and everybody's being so busy. It actually works out easier, because if you walk in, you've got to sing with someone you don't know, it's a bit, a bit intimidating. This is a tremendous arrangement by Greg Filligan. He arranged this, and we knew we had to take this one away, far away from the original, which it really is. It's almost like a 1812 overture, the way it builds. Smokey was very impressed by it. He's apparently, when he was in the studio, he listened to it once, he said, well, what do you want me to do? But he just gave it that wonderful little touch, that little falsetto he's got, bless him. Great honour to have him on this album. Probably the most memorable thing about this song is not the recording of it, but the fact that Stevie offered to play on it. Bless him, he's such a tender, wonderful man. He actually wrote me a song, and he was actually demanding it be on this album. He said, this is just made for this album. It is a great song. But we said, hopefully we'll be doing a follow-up album if it does well, so we'll put it on that. But it wouldn't have been right to have done it for this album. Maybe the next album, slip it in there. Well, I will say I was very pleased. See, the two of them have got amazing ammunition when it comes to singing. I mean, they can hit every note and, you know, use many, many notes, and I've heard the way they sing, but they were really nice because they tamed it down and kept within the song and kept with me, you know, instead of screaming and shouting all off, you know, into the distance. Well, Let It Be Me was always a duet. It was Jerry Butler and
Betty Everett.
Betty Everett. I was going to say Tammy Wynette. That wouldn't have been right.
Could be an interesting rap.
So that was always going to be a duet. But I actually like singing that one on my own, but of course I never will. And the other one is You Make Me Feel Brand New. Mary J. Blige, she did a fabulous job on that as well. And I sent both the girls big bouquets of flowers, thanking them from the bottom of my heart. I think this was my idea to do this one. We were going to do, I think, Clive Davis said, why don't we do I Can't Help Myself? But I said, I don't like the opening line, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. I've always despised that opening line. Sorry, Holland Dozier and Holland. So I said, what about the Same Old Song? So we agreed on that one. Of course, I told you it was my idea to do the little bit, slow bit in the front. My gorgeous wife said, why don't you do this? And she wants me to do Very Superstitious as well, the Stevie Wonder thing, which Stevie said apparently was written for Jeff Beck, believe it or not. And he never did it. So this is, my wife got me to do this one. She pushed and shoved until she got her own way, like she does. Because it's such a great track on Jackie Wilson's. And as I said, you know, unless I get the track, I told Steve Jordan, unless we get the track, I can't sing it. Because the track is extraordinary. No, Love Train we actually had been playing live for the last 3 or 4 months. So I said to the band, you know, lay it down, let's see what it sounds like. And I wanted it to sound like a garage band playing it, which is what they did. Since then, it's had a few overdubs. It's lost its garage band appeal for me, but it's still very rhythmic, and it is what it is. I've always been very weary of doing Sam Cooke songs, you know, because he's so in my blood, you know. It's I always find myself copying exactly what he did. So we took it the Memphis way. You know, we brought in the horns and we toughened it up. And I think it worked. You know, it's so unlike his version. Greg arranged it. He took the middle 8 and changed that entirely. And we did it, unlike the Temps version, we almost did a country version because you got slide guitar on there and mandolins and things. Why this one is so close to me is because it was the same year in 1971 that Maggie May was a hit. It's timeless, that song. Brilliant. Oh, we're doing them across the road right now. I just went over and listened to the guys play Same Old Song, and it's just spot on. You know, we've got it down. But, you know, once you've done a vocal and you've found your little groove and the way you want to do it, it's easy. It's finding that groove, you know, with the original in the back of your mind, you know, of Levi Stubbs, one of the great all-time R&B singers, and then trying to find out where you've got to take it, if anywhere, you know. There was a good version by Phil Collins, if you remember, of Can't Hurry Love, which wasn't as good as the Supremes version, but it was good, you know, and you wanted to listen to it. And the same with Simply Red when he did If You Don't Know Me By Now. You know, it wasn't as good as Teddy Pendergrass, but it was good. And I think mine sort of comes right in the middle of the two somehow. So it'd be interesting to see what Simply says about my version. Crowd love the ballads. I like the up-tempo stuff, I really do. You know the audience hear me sing the ballads better, but I love the up-tempo stuff.